Hello students and welcome back to our class at the rate Unique Plus 2.0, and we will be continuing with our lesson some basic concepts of chemistry. Hopefully today we will be finishing this lesson. Today we will revise a little about molar mass. So last class when we had learned molar mass, so we had seen that molar mass is numerically equal to atomic, molecular and formula mass in units as we see over here. So how big is mole is what we will know today. Now suppose if we take an example of a drop of water. So a drop of water contains approximately 1.67 into 10 raised to 21 molecules of water, meaning that 100 billion times of the people on earth. And if we give in this drop of water, if we give one molecule to each person on this earth, even bigger larger number. So to deal with such larger numbers, mole was invented. Now, let's move further to how to calculate moles in various elements, compounds and gases. Now, for elements, the number of moles is equal to given mass, the given mass which of the particular element, and upon gram atomic mass. Now, gram atomic mass is the mass of that Avogadro's number, that is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23. Then for compounds, number of moles, that is given mass upon gram molecular mass. Now gram molecular mass is nothing but Avogadro's number in molecules in gram. For gases, number of moles is the volume given upon 22.4 liters. This is liters at standard temperature and pressure, at which we say the standard temperature is 273 Kelvin and pressure is 1 atmosphere. Now, 1 mole of the gas occupies a volume of 22.4 liters at standard temperatures. What is said. Now, for elements, the suffix is given GAM, gram atomic mass, and for compound the suffix is GMM, gram molecular mass. You can see the difference. For compounds it is molecules and for elements it is atomic. So please do not get confused. Now we will move further to calculate. I have given an example to calculate a number of moles. Now over here the question reads, one atom of an element X, okay, a certain element X weighs 6.643 into 10 raised to minus 23 grams. Now we have to calculate the number of moles in 20 kgs. Okay, now for elements, have we seen in the previous slide what formula is there? Number of moles equal to given mass upon gram atomic mass. Okay, now first we will find out given mass. Now given mass is 20 kgs. So 20 kgs we will convert it into gram, that is 20 upon 1000, which comes up to 20 into 10 raised to 3 grams. Sorry. I've done something wrong. It is 20 into 1000. If it would be denominator, so it would be negative. So gram atomic mass, now we'll find about the gram atomic mass, that is Avogadro's number into the weight of the element, that is 6.643 into 10 raised to minus 23 grams. Over here in the question it is already given. So Avogadro's number is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 into 6.643 into 10 raised to minus 23, where when we calculate, we get a value 40. Now, we'll use a formula where number of moles is now given mass. Over here given mass 2 into 10 raised to 3 upon gram atomic mass, that is 40, where we get a value of 500. So, this is how we have calculated number of moles in an element. Now, moving further, now we'll come up to percentage composition. Percentage composition is ratio in which the constituents are present in a given compound. Okay, percentage composition is the ratio of the constituents present in a compound. So how will we find this? So the percentage of an element is the mass of the element of the compound upon molar mass of the compound into 100. Now we have taken an example of water. Water being, because it's very easy and mostly It is also given in your textbook also, but it will be easy for us to understand. Now, molar mass of water is 18 grams. Now, to find the mass percentage of hydrogen, that is because there is two molecules of hydrogen present, that's why we applied 2 into 1.088, that is the molecular mass upon 18, that is the molar mass of water. Now into 100, so we get a value of 11.18%. Now mass percentage of oxygen is 16.00. Now why no 2 is applied over here? Because one molecule of oxygen is present upon 18.02, that is the molar mass of the compound, into 100, that is, it comes up to 88.79%. All right, now I have given you all a problem so that you all can solve on your own. What is the question? What is the percent of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen in ethanol? I hope you all won't find any difficulty. If anything, please let me know. Now we'll come up to empirical formula and molecular formula. In the previous class, I told about empirical formula is the ratio. It tells us the ratio of the molecules present in the compound. And molecular formula tells us what exactly, how is present in the compound. Now over here, we have given a question. A compound contains 4.07% of hydrogen, to 24.27% of carbon and 71.65% of chlorine. Now its molar mass is 98.96 grams. So what are its empirical and molecular formula? We have to find both. Now this is a stepwise problem. We have to go through 5 steps. Now first we have to convert the mass percent, all these mass percents, into grams. So we assume that we have a sample of all these chemicals present. So we have it in 100 grams. So the percentage will be converted into grams. So hydrogen is 4.07 grams, carbon is 24.27 grams, chlorine is 70.65 grams. Now in the second step, we have to convert all these masses into moles. Okay? All these masses are converted into mole. So as given over here, moles, number of moles of hydrogen, carbon and chlorine are converted, and we get the following values. Further, we see that from all those values, we have to divide the smallest value to get simple whole numbers. So among hydrogen, carbon and chlorine, the smallest number is 2.021. So we will divide 2.021 equally with all the mole values, and we get the answers 211, which is actually a ratio 2 is to 1 is to 1. Now, so the empirical formula will be CH2Cl. Now, we have to write the molecular formula. Now, the empirical formula, now we have said if carbon is 1 present, so carbon's molecular formula is 12. Then into 2 of hydrogen plus 35 of chlorine, and we get a total of 49.48 grams. Now, molecular formula is molar mass upon empirical formula, where we calculate 98.296 upon 49 upon 48, we get a value of 2. So molecular formula is nothing but we multiply our empirical formula with N, that is 2. So we get C2H4 and Cl2. So this is how we generated our molecular formula. Now we are talking about balanced chemical equations. Now why do we need to balance chemical equations? What is the need? Now balanced chemical equation has the same number of atoms. Same number. Please thank you. It has the same number of atoms on either sides of the equation. Like we say A plus B gives AB. Fine. So we need that whatever reactants are present on the right will give the same number of products on the number should be same. Now, why is it necessary to balance a chemical reaction? Now, we had learned about the laws of conservation, laws of chemical reactions, where we had learn about the conservation of mass given by Antonio Levin. You all have you all can revise about it in the previous slides. So the chemical reaction needs to be followed where he had said the mass of the reactant should be equal to the mass of the products. So let's solve one example. Over here I have given a chemical equation of C2H6 plus O2 gives CO2 plus H2O. Now you see over here that the equation is not balanced, where you can see missing numbers. So first you have to start balancing any element by adjusting the stoichiometric coefficients. Now you see there is C2H6 in, now we have seen over here there are 2 carbons over here in the reactant, but in the products there is only 1. So we have to adjust. So we are writing 2 carbon. So over here in the first step carbon is balanced. Now in the second step you see, in this step as well you see oxygen only 2 is present, whereas over here 2 into 2 is 4 plus 1 over here is 5 and there is 2 H2O. So over here now we'll try balance water. I see hydrogen also, 6 hydrogen is present over here and 2 hydrogen is present over here. So now over here we have put 3 hydrogen in front of hydrogen. So now we get hydrogen is also balanced over here. Here 3 2s are 6, so here 6 hydrogen. But then oxygen over here is 1 plus 2 4. Here 1, that no, sorry, it's not 1, it's 3 oxygens plus 4. 3 plus 4 is 7 oxygens. So, and over here in the reactant there is only 2 oxygens. So we'll apply 7 by 2. So now the reaction is balanced. Fine. Now we learn about stoichiometry. Stoichiometry is nothing but to calculate the mass of the reactants and products the reactants and products. Now you see, I have given an example of burning of methane, where you see 1 mole of methane, there is 1 molecule of methane. We have written the chemical reaction also, and I have shown in a diagram form. So over here there is 1 molecule of methane present, and when you see oxygen, there are 2 molecules of oxygen present, and carbon dioxide, there is only 1 molecule of carbon dioxide present, and hydrogen, 2 molecules of hydrogen are present. Sorry, water, H2O is present. So their weights also are calculated accordingly. Further, we learn about limiting reagents. Now, if we see in a chemical reaction where we add 2 reactants, so these reactants react till a certain limit, till how much molecules are present in it. For example, if I say I have a book, okay, and I have a pen, I have to write only with that 1 pen in that particular book. So how many pages are there and the amount of ink is present, that depends upon the number of pages I write. So how many pages I have written, and after that the ink doesn't work, so means that ink has worked on certain number of pages, say around 10 to 15 pages, 15 to be exact. So after that it won't work, so that certain pages that are left in that book or particular copy, it will be remaining there. So the amount of reactants that combine to form the proper compound or chemical, we say, that is called the limiting reagent. So how is there are methods to solve problems based on limiting reagents. There are 4 steps. First, we have to write a balanced chemical equation. Second, we have to calculate the moles of each of the compounds present. Third, then we calculate the ratio of number of moles in the stoichiometric coefficient. Now you should remember compounds with minimum ratio will be the limiting reagent. Now based on all the calculations, availability of limiting reagents can be told. Now reactions of solutions. Now reactions of solution, when we have a particular reactant, now over here you see a beaker, we have added something into it. Now the amount of reaction taking place, the quality of the solute, quantity of the solute present can be told by all these factors like mass, mole fraction, molarity, and molality. In turn, the concentration of the solution can be measured with all these factors. First, we'll come to mass percent or weight percent. Now, mass percent, the formula is mass of the solute upon the mass of the solution into 100, and this value is in percentage. So, first question is, a solution is prepared by adding 2 grams of a substance A to 18 grams of water. Calculate the mass percent of the solute. Now, in the first slide, I had told you that a solution is formed by solute plus solvent, and which is present in the larger amount is a solvent, and which is present in the larger amount is solvent, and less amount is solute. So water is present in a larger amount, so this is our solvent, and our solvent, the substance A, it is 2 grams, so this is our solute. So now we have to calculate the mass percent of solute, we have to calculate the mass percent of a substance A. Now, mass of substance A is 2 grams, and mass of the solution is mass of A plus mass of water, which is given in our question, that is 2 grams plus 18, which is 20 grams. The mass percentage of A is mass of A upon mass of the solution, which we calculate comes up to 10%. Fine. Now we come up to mole fraction. Mole fraction is the ratio of the number of a particular component to the total number of moles of the solution. This is represented by Chi. Please move to a previous slide. This is represented by even I had mistaken first, but it is called T. Alright, so mole fraction of the component is number of moles of the component upon total number of moles of all the components in the compound. Fine. Now suppose mole fraction of A, number of moles of A upon number of moles of the solution, that is Na upon Na plus Nb, and mole fraction of B, that is number of moles of B upon number of moles of the solution, that is Nb upon Na plus Nb. Now you should remember this, the sum of the mole fraction of all the compounds in the solution is unity, that is it comes up to 1. Alright. Now we'll solve a question over here. Now 4 moles of alcohol and 6 moles of water are mixed, and calculate the mole fraction of each component. Now moles of alcohol, that is 4 moles, and moles of water is 6 moles. What was the formula? Number of mole fraction is number of moles of the component upon total number of all the components. So we'll assume alcohol as XA, so that is Na upon Na plus Nw, that is 4 upon 4 plus 6, that will come up to 0.4, and of mole fraction of water is Nw upon Na plus Nw, that will also come 6 upon 4 plus 6, that value will get a value of 0.6. Now we come up to molarity. Molarity is the number of the solute present in per liter of the solution, and it is represented by M. Alright, and units of molarity is moles per liter. We'll solve a question over here. Now calculate the molarity of an aqueous sodium hydroxide solution prepared by dissolving 4 grams of sodium hydroxide in enough water to form 250 ml of the solution. Now moles of hydrogen is, sodium hydroxide is given mass of sodium hydroxide upon molar mass of sodium hydroxide. So given mass of sodium hydroxide is given 4 grams upon 40 gram per mole, molar mass. 40 gram per mole is the molar mass of sodium hydroxide. So we get a value of 0.1 moles. Now what is the volume of the solution? Volume of the solution is 1250 ml. Now we have converted it into liters. Now molarity is the number of moles of solute upon volume of the solution in liters. So because of the formula, we have converted this in the volume of the solution into liters. Now molarity is 0.1 moles upon 0.25, if we get a value of 0.4 moles per liter. Now we come up to molality. Now molality is defined as the number of moles of the solute per kg of the solvent. So it is denoted by a small letter m, and its unit is moles per kg. So the formula is number of moles of solute upon mass of the solvent in kgs. Now we have given an problem over here. Calculate the molarity of 2.5 grams of ethanoic acid in 50 grams of benzene. Molar mass of ethanoic acid is 60 grams per mole. Now moles of the solute is given mass of the solute upon molar mass of the solute. So we will calculate 2.5 upon 60 grams per mole. We get a value of 0.417 moles. I should write it over here. Sorry, 0.007 moles. Now, mass of the solvent of that is benzene. So 50 grams equal to 0.05 kg. From grams we have converted into kg. Now molarity is number of moles of solute upon mass of the solvent in kgs. So here we have brought the values together, divided it, and we get a value 0.834 molality. So with this, today we have ended with our lesson, and hopefully we will start with a second lesson very soon. Thank you.